The ending of Disclaimer Episode 5 leaves Nicholas' fate ambiguous after his struggle with heroin addiction is revealed. Cate Blanchett leads a talented ensemble cast of Disclaimer as Catherine Ravenscroft, a hard-working and acclaimed television documentary journalist out of London, England. Catherine's world unravels once a mysterious novel titled The Perfect Stranger arrives at her doorstep, bringing up memories of one of her deepest and darkest secrets. Disclaimer also stars Sacha Baron Cohen as Robert, Catherine's husband, Cody Smith-McPhee as Nicholas, Robert and Catherine's son, and Kevin Kline as Stephen Brigstock, a local London man who has lost his wife and son. Disclaimer is based on the 2015 book of the same name written by Renee Knight. After 4 episodes of Disclaimer, the affair between Catherine and Jonathan is revealed to Robert after Stephen gives him the photographs for proof. Robert becomes furious and kicks Catherine out of their home but doesn't tell Nicholas about any of it. Through the first half of Disclaimer, Nicholas has intentionally stayed out of Catherine's reach as their relationship has evidently been strained long before the present-day timeline in the series. Disclaimer has earned an impressive Rotten Tomatoes critics score of 78% and consists of 7 parts, with the final episode releasing on November 15. Does Nicholas die from a drug overdose in Disclaimer? Nicholas frequently uses heroin behind his parents' back. Nicholas Ravenscroft, played by actor Cody Smith-McPhee, in Alfonso Cuarón's Disclaimer. At the end of Disclaimer Episode 5, it's unclear whether Nicholas has died from an apparent heroin overdose. It was only discovered in the very same episodes that Nicholas had a substance abuse problem, since throughout the first 4 episodes of Disclaimer, the audience only sees Nicholas through the lens of either Robert or Catherine. Nicholas is shown going to purchase and use heroin several times in Disclaimer Episode 5, even bringing along his own sanitary injection kit. The narration states that Nicholas has assured himself that he has the habit under control, which may not truly be the case after an already fragile Nicholas discovers the truth about his mother and Jonathan in Italy through Stephen's cunning internet catfishing scheme. He begins to spiral worse than ever before. It's interesting that Jonathan, who throughout the series couldn't care less about Catherine, becomes so deeply affected by Catherine's affair with Jonathan and the racy photographs that Stephen sends him of her. It's apparent that Nicholas is more affected by the part of the story in which Jonathan drowns trying to save him after he brings his inflatable dinghy out to sea. This becomes the final straw for Nicholas, who is already lacking in self-esteem and emotional stability. Why does everyone turn against Catherine so quickly? It proves that Catherine never had trusted friends to begin with. Catherine Ravenscroft, played by actress Cate Blanchett, in Alfonso Cuarón's Disclaimer. Catherine continues to take blows to her family life and reputation in Disclaimer Episode 5 after Stephen shows up at her place of work with copies of The Perfect Stranger. It only took a book and a few images sent by a stranger to destroy a marriage, a teetering mother-son relationship, and Catherine's career, the latter of which didn't even require the images. The scene in which Catherine is confronted by her subordinates at work is clearly some kind of commentary on cancel culture. It also shows how none of those occupational relationships were healthy in the first place, as evidenced by how the people she worked with were so ready for any chance to tear her down. The scene in which Stephen has a conversation with Jisoo, played by an underutilized Hoyeon, further demonstrates the point that Catherine had admirers but not friends. The moment Stephen mentions the possibility of something scandalous about Catherine, Jisoo makes sure to sit him down and gather as much information as possible in order to potentially use it to make a career move of her own. This ends up being the case, as Jisoo hands copies of The Perfect Stranger out to the entire office in just one day, not bothering to talk to Catherine about it privately first. This reveals that while Catherine may have been respected, she was not necessarily well liked by her employees. What does Stephen meeting with Robert mean? Robert also wants revenge against Catherine. Stephen meets with Robert at the latter's request, although Stephen is initially unsure whether it's a good idea. Once he discovers that Robert is dead set on exacting his own revenge on Catherine after her unforgivable betrayal, Stephen realizes that he can trust Robert as they share the same main objective. What Robert will surely disapprove of is Stephen's actions against Nicholas that may have led to his death or overdose, although Stephen never revealed his actual name to Nicholas during their online communication. It doesn't seem like Stephen would have wished any harm to Nicholas, but his trickery will certainly have left an indelible mark by the end of Disclaimer.